I want to believe all of you have downloaded this Jupyter notebook. So if you have downloaded it, you have done the right thing. So I've already explained this part of the script. So I've explained this one. It allows you to plot in line. These are modules as I've previously explained. Here is the part. I know some of you have been struggling with setting of the parts. This is a kind of relative part. The reason why I'm not typing the part in full is because my default part is this. If you look at your screen, you'll be able to see my default part. So the Jupyter notebook or Anaconda allows you to use where you open the file from the notebook from as your default folder. So if I want to add on it, I just need to add this data. This data is actually a folder, and I created another one. So if you can see on my screen here, on this right hand side, so what you will see is a folder. This is my default directory or folder, as I've told you. So this is where I open my Jupyter notebook from. And if you look at this, I've created a folder called data. So that is the first data here. And I've created another folder called dog breeds. And I have a number of folders inside here. And I've instructed all of you to create. I've instructed you to create this folder called test images. I'm going to create another one because I already have that one. I'm going to say test images. If you have not created, you can create yours. So instead of using S, I'm going to use X. Okay, so that's where I'm going to store my images. Okay, let's continue with the notebook. So the part is very important. These are the packages coming from that allow you to do basic stuff. Then theano, we've already talked about this. We have talked about this the other time. So just like I explained to you, these utilities per se, they are not modules, but rather they work like macro. If I come to my default folder here, so this is the utils. So each time you try to run this, what it does is to go to this folder, go to this file, the .py, utils.py, and run everything inside. I will show you all that we have inside that one. Okay, you can see everything here. It runs it. For some of you that were having problem with the installation, some of the error messages were actually coming from that file. The same thing is applicable to VGG16. So here you have everything. And the other time I told you to do a number of things with your VGG16. That is to stop the shuffling. So each time you run, your code, it shuffles it. So what does it mean to be shuffled? It mixes everything together. So you come to this side of the script and change this. If yours is still true, you need to change it to a false. So why are we changing it to false? Because we already have the names of the file names, the identifiers of the images. So we want everything to align perfectly. But if you don't change it, you are using shuffling, it's going to be shuffling the images, and you won't be able to match them correctly. So please take note of that. I think there's another shuffling in this utils too. You can also change that. All right. So I guess it's clear up to that stage. If it's not clear, please let me know. You can unmute and say something. So all of you have been muted for now. You can unmute. Okay, so let's go to the batches. So in these batches, we are saying that this thing should load the images, right? So I've got my test folder. I've made my test folder to be different from that test images. So if I come here and go to data, I specify the part. The part is this part that you see here. I hope it's specified. It should be specified. Okay, it's this one here. So each time I write part, I'm actually writing all this one in full. Okay, so once you say part, so for this test one now, if I go, this is my part data dog breed. Okay, let me continue. So I have this test folder. Please don't be confused with the with all this. So we have test folder. We have another test folder. This is how they have programmed the software to accept. So here I've put all my 10,357 images, and I've made it my batch size. It's quite big. Let me see the size. If you run everything together, it's going to be, let's count. Let me do just properties. Okay, you are talking about 10,000 plus images and 300 megabytes. For some of you, your memory may not be able to support that. It may run for more than a day. But this is how I did mine. I actually allow it to run overnight. By the time I wake up in the morning, it has finished running. So what we are going to do is that I still want you to follow this route, because some of you are not conversant with Python. Some of you have been struggling. So if you go through that, if you go via that route of splitting into 1,000, it's going to be a problem because you are not used to Python per se. So the alternative is to use this program in Fireworks to reduce the size drastically. It's not that you are going to reduce the size one by one. You are just going to come here, make use of the bash functionality in your Fireworks and reduce it maybe by 80% or 90% depending. Or the ideal thing to do in this case is that some can be reduced by up to 90%, the big ones, but there are some that are very, very tiny. So you can use the bash something here to automatically right, great. Okay, so let's continue now. All right, so this is the bash utility that you can use to compress your file. It's just a matter of clicking here and go to your test folder. This is my test folder. Look at the positioning. You can see test is inside test. So if you don't do test, it will be complaining that it can't see the images. So here are all the files. It's better you do listing so that it will not be complaining about the memory. Then you say next. You have to highlight everything. Use Control A. For those of you that are using Windows, so if you are not using Windows, you know what to do on your Mac. It's a big file, so it will take some time. Yeah, especially if you are using this old version of Fireworks, so it will tell you something. Okay, so this is the facility that you use to compress. Let me go back to the images. There's something I want to show you guys. So look at the images that you've got here. You can show the dimension. You see, they come in different dimensions. They come in different dimensions, and you can see some of them are 500 by 375. I think about 10,000 of them are 500 by something dimension. So I'm sorting it, so it's taking time because there are 10,000 plus of them. So they are quite many. They are quite many. So, and they come in different dimensions. Some of them are big, some of them are small. So this is what you will encounter in true life. You don't expect all your images to be of equal dimensions. Some of them will be big, some of them will be small. But now, for the sake of running your model, you want a uniform kind of size, so that your model will. So how do you do that? You can use this dimension. Just decide on your own and say, okay, this one that are 500, I want to reduce them by 80. You can reduce them in such a way that you can be able to see them, and your model can see better, even if it is very, very tiny. So just note that. In as much it doesn't diminish your pre your ability to predict, so you can stay. So it's still sorting. Okay, let's go back to this one and see. Okay, the bash, I'm just picking this one. So I just want to show you how to capitalize on this. You see, you can scale. So this thing allow you to scale down. Okay, you can specify how much you want to scale. Scale to so this is the one that will allow you to reduce. Just say scale by percentage. So it's already 100%. You just say, I want 10% of this, of that one that you have selected. So it will automatically reduce your image by 10%. So if you apply 10% to everything that you have, which is about 300 megabytes, it will turn to like 30 megabytes, which is a big reduction. And instead of your this thing taking longer time to run, it will run quite fast. So I want you to take note of that. Just say next. So if you want it in the same location, you can specify that. But the implication of that is that what you have downloaded, if you don't have a backup, you are going to lose everything. So you may not be able to revert back to the original size and dimension. Or you can, the best bet is to do custom location, or note that you will reduce the size of the image. So let's go back to the coordinates. So I want you to put the bashes to be 10,357. But what I've advised you to do, reduce all the images maybe by 90%, just to test for now. You may not get the best of results, but reduce by 90%, even 95%, so that everything will run. Then you will test. Okay. All right. So the next thing you will do is this one. So if I've sent you this particular file with this commented, you need to uncomment it. The same thing is applicable to this. Just remove the comment sign. Okay. So it's clear up to this stage. Everybody has been doing that one. Then here, okay, so this stores the output of my, okay, this is the prediction. Okay, this is my prediction break standard. So he's storing it in this file, the output. So I've told you that you can always check the output to see what is doing. So all of you are conversant with this kind of output. It gives you the probability, a number, and also this one. So now, here is my prediction. Loading the prediction. PD dot read results or prediction. So it's loading the file that I save. Okay, so I've specified this folder. You see, I specify it here. Wait, that it should save my results here. So you must have this folder. Let me show you the folder on my own computer here. Okay, so it's somewhere here. It's at the upper level. You see, at the same level with data. So if you are confused about that, so that has been clarified. Okay, now I have loading the prediction file. This is coming in raw form, you see. Then what I'm doing here is to transpose. For those of you that have done mathematics, done is it matrices or the like, so you might have done something on how to transpose. So that's what I did here. I just, in a layman's time, I just flipped this figure. So if I were you, as you were going, you should be writing down something. I need to write a lot of comments, but I've not done that. But if I were you You can open your own notebook and be writing comment as we go. So this one is, so what I've done here is to transpose .t. So it transposes. Then now, because this one, this value here, they don't have headers. So I added headers. The first one is accuracy. Second one is number. Second one is, the third one is breed. Okay. Then, so I went back to this one that I created earlier on, the file names. Oh, where did I? Oh, no. Have I created the file name somewhere? Okay, I don't think there is any file names anywhere. Okay. Okay, this is the transposing, this is the file name. Okay, so this is retrieving the file names now. So as I explained the other time, if you do batches is coming from the other program. You can get the file names of the files that you have loaded. Again, I must emphasize the fact that the folder, the VGG16.py must not be shuffled. The same thing is applicable to UTs. Must not be shuffled. If he shuffles this one, you are going to run into a big problem. Okay, so what am I doing here? So this is like this. You see? So I'm telling this to remove test dash dash. You see? So that's the essence of this 5. So if you count somewhere here, so that's the magic that one is doing. Is it? Yeah. So you can play around with this and see what is actually doing. So, but what this one has succeeded in doing is removing the test. It's not a big deal. So I'm asking it to give it. This one doesn't have a header, so I'm asking it to give it a header. Okay. And the reason why I've been doing all this, you will notice I always write this code in between, and you'll find it also somewhere here. Is to convert this one from a frame. It's like a numpy frame. When you see this parenthesis, like a frame. So I'm using this to convert it to a panda frame. So something that it looks like a true life kind of arrangement. Okay. Now the next thing is merging the two data sets together. So I have the file name and I have this one. Then I manage to merge them together. So I just say merge. I merge based on the index. These values are actually the index. They go from 0. So I just capitalize on the fact that this thing gives me the indices automatically, or the index column. So I capitalize on that to get something uniform to merge there. Again, don't shuffle. All right, so I convert the value to a CSV. So this is predicted values, prediction value 20th January 20. So let me show you the output, because I've already output the files already. So I need to show you the output. So I put everything under results. So you too, you can get your work organized like that. Use different folder. So this is the prediction values. So if you look at it, basically I'm just outputting this. I'm putting it in something like that. You can see. So look at my values here. So I have this file name and all the like. Just it's what you see here that you get inside the file. So then I made an important notice here on the fact that you need to create folder for each. So that means you have to pause when you get to this stage and just go to this this folder that you have here. For those of you that did stage 2 of the task, so I give this as a solution. It's what do you call it now? It's creating a folder for each dot break. So what I want to capitalize on is on the fact that I've already done some prediction, and I want to automatically transfer the file. Okay, I imported this. Then I now loaded this one that I just showed you now. Okay, I loaded this one. Where's my notepad plus plus? Oh, it's not showing here. So what I basically did was to come here and load this one. Let me open with not okay. And I loaded the. So what I need from this is just this name and also this, the name and the breed, basically. So all that you see me doing here is to just arrive at that. All right, so I loaded it, I print, I use different way of outputting the values now. Then I wrote a comment here. I'm creating this value IDX. The IDX is nothing strange. It's just to add this .jpg because that's the name of the file. If you look at your data test, for those of you that have reviewed this, I want to believe all of you can see my screen. So what we are doing here, just like I was explaining before we went blank. So here you import pandas and do what we are supposed to do. So I told you about this. We got this from our work earlier on, and so I told you all the things that we need to do. Okay, so one interesting hint about this code is that even if you don't understand how the code works, just look at the outputs. These are the outputs. You can see, you have an idea of what I am doing. You can see how it is evolving. Here you only have 5 names, accuracy, norm, breed. But at this stage, you see ID and IDS. That means I've added something. Okay. All right. So here I'm doing. Oh, I should be using the second version of this, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not a problem. Just get the idea. Okay. So you have this file name. So basically, what I need is just the ID column and the other one. So what am I doing here? Making the IDS column to be in the index column. So this is now my index. If you remember when we were joining the other time, we used the indices or the index column that comes with pandas, with Python pandas. But this time around, we are creating this. And what I've done along the line is to add this .jpg. Why are we adding the .jpg? If you come here, you see that all this I've got .jpg extension. It's only if you have not allowed yourself to view your extension in your Windows or in your Mac or in your Linux that you will not see that. Okay, here we are dropping all these ones that we don't need. Dropping the file name, dropping the accuracy, norm, and the ID. So we are just left with the breed being the newly created one. So each time you see number here, I'm just picking selected one. I do, we have 10,000 or plus records, so I don't want everything to be to be shown here. It's okay. All right. So dog breed list unique. Then I said you should manually create a folder. So we have created that. So I created one folder the other time. You too, you can do the same. So what you should do, preserve your test one and come here and copy all the items here. Copy everything and come to this one that you have created here. Test images. Okay, and paste it there. Then run this command. And I want you to note all the parts that are specified here. Once there's a mistake in your parts specification, definitely the program is going to throw you an error. In order to avoid that, if it is, and also Python is case sensitive, So if it is a small letter, it must be in small letter. If it is capital letter, that was the problem that this one ran into in the other. So if you don't pay attention to details, know that some of this problem can take you 24 hours. And that's the challenge some of you have been having. That is the headache that some of you have been having, because you don't take note of those little things. It takes you a lot of time to get them fixed, and it now becomes frustrating. The journey of just 30 minutes now take 1 week. So you have to cultivate that habit. So after you run you will get something like this. You see, something will automatically put all the images in the folder. One thing you must note here, this one is different from the train. This one is actually the prediction that your VGG16 has made. So what have we done here to arrive at this? So you have dog breed, we have test images. Okay, these are actually the results, and what I wanted to say is that they are coming from here. So you see this Japanese Spaniel, Samoyed. If you do a search, you will see that they are in the right place. Like this one. If you go to the Japanese one, the one that starts with J, IJ. Okay, this is the Spaniel I was telling you about. Okay, let me post the value here. Okay. All right, it gives you a kind of idea of your prediction. You can see what it has predicted here, which is a good thing for you to see. All right, so that is what it does. Okay. Now let's go back to our script now. So that's the end of this one. I don't know if anyone has a question on this. If you have any question, just let me know. Unmute and ask your question. Okay, maybe I should unmute. Does anyone? Okay, everything. Who has a question with respect to that one? Okay. If you
Sir, does this apply for we that we created folders? I'm asking that question of this contact 100 folder created. Will it
which
do it
one?
automatically?
Yes, it will create. You will create a folder, and you will put all your images there. Don't create additional folder inside. So what you do is just to create a broad folder. So the program will automatically take care of the rest. I mean the script, the code will automatically. So it is the script that will all do all this one for you. You see. All right. Any other question? If you have question, just unmute and ask.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
At what point are we running this second script?
All right. So if you look at the first one, you see at this stage of important notice. So where it says important notice, this is where you will detour. We'll go to the other one. So, any other question? All right, nobody is speaking, so let me mute everything. Okay, so now we have come back to this one now. All right, so look at this now. So this is the images that we've already put in a different folder here. So we have put them in their respective folder. So what we are doing here is to list the folders to get a kind of name. And so once I listed, I'm getting the top 3 records. You see what I've done here? This one is to list everything. Actually, if you want to see the result of the listing, what you should just do is to just put your folder here. You will see the result of listing. If you just want to list 5, You can just put 5 like this. Okay, just like I said, be writing your comment. So you listing all the folder name. The next thing is to give, just like we did earlier on, header. We are making an header here. Here we are converting the something to panda frame to look like a to a beta frame or panda frame. Okay, then here we transfer the something to a CSV. Okay, so the same thing is with this one as well. So we are getting all the names. Unlike this one is the folder list. This one is the list, listing the content of a particular folder. And if you go back to your folder and you try with this, let me double click on this one. The first one is this one. You will see that if you look at this name and compare with this, you will see is the first one. This one has 60. So if I don't specify 3 and I specify the entire 60, it will list everything just like this for me up to 60. Okay, so the index starts from 0. That's why you are not seeing 60 there. Is that clear? Okay. So let's do like this. I can list 5. I can list it, but just to tidy my this thing, that's why I'm just listing a minimal number. Okay, I did a bit of hard coding here. I wanted to loop, but trying to loop is taking me a lot of time. So what I did was to hard code it. So what did I mean by hard coding it? I want the name for each of the folder. So I just copy and pasted, do it one by one, just hard coded everything. The alternative was to use loop. So if you know how to do the looping, you can just do the looping. But if you don't know, just leave it for now. Later we'll see how we can loop so that the code will be tidy. So what you just need to understand is this one, which I have what do you call it, presented here. So this is a sample of what goes on here. So you are actually listing everything. Okay, any questions so far? No. Okay, so just to run this, so note the directory has changed. If I were you, I will be using the directory that I'm using. Like, you can start from data, you can use whatever folder, but you can create a folder starting with data. This is what I mean. If Panda opens it here for you, you can have something like data. Maybe you can change your directory to whatever you like from here. Then let it be in this format like my own. Don't put this one here. You can just have data and your results folder so that it will be consistent, so that you will not get yourself confused too much. All right, so look at what has happened here. Let's say file name table previously created. Okay, we created this one previously. If you go up, you'll find something on that up somewhere here. File name, yes, it happened here. So don't be alarmed by just seeing that for the very first time. Okay, now what we do, so this is the one. This is a sample of what we created here. We could have used Yorkshire Terrier, but we didn't do that. Okay, well, we just use this one. So just picking some values. So here at this stage is to merge together. All right, so we're merging. So we are merging file name plus this one, and that's the essence of this hard coding here as well. All right, let me tell you what was done here. So this one, as you can see, example final data, where I left join this with this one. Then I store the result in this final data. Then I put it here. I left join. So there's a bit of hard coding here too. So I didn't want to stress myself much about doing that. Okay, so I didn't do all this one manually, or it's manual, but I just put everything in Excel and drag down, so it did everything for me. It's more of automatic. If I did everything one by one, I would still be on it. Okay, so I'm just picking a record. You see, the idea is whatever our output here. You see, the whatever, if the output is 9 here, we want to make it 1 for Japanese Spaniel. Okay, so and for cargo, we are trying to follow what cargo is saying. So cargo has so many in the submission, sample submission CSV file. It has a number of category that is expecting us to fit in to predict, and we are still coming back to that. So now, if we get a value for a Phoenicia, this one is 1. We want to make the others to be 0. So cargo expect that when you total all these 200 plus category together, it becomes 1. But we, for this time, we are just interested in what we have got, and we are making it 1. So if the prediction is correct, make it 1. And yeah, so that's what we are doing for this one. So we're making everything. Let me scroll up again. I hope nobody is lost yet. All right. If I scroll up to, okay, here now, you see that everything here is 1, 1, 1, 1. So that means I'm saying because I've predicted a Phoenicia for this one, everything will be 1. So if you look at another category, for example, let me look at the Afghan and if I put it here, it will also be 1. Okay. So wherever it's not 1, it should be another value. So that's what we're trying to achieve. Here we're just merging, joining everything together, and it's a left join kind of arrangement. Okay. All right. So now here, filling all the data, missing with 0. So I just decided to fill all this none with 0. So that will be the output here. So you see, this one has transformed to this. So if it's not 1, this is 0 or true. This is not an ideal way of doing it. It's a probability that is actually asking for. If you see the sample summation, the total should be 1. We are using 1. It's just to practice. But if we missed it here, cargo is going to penalize us because the metric that is using is log, multi-class logs. It doesn't allow you to gamble. So once you miss a value, instead of you to take the other value, it penalizes you, deducts from your mark. Okay. All right. So okay, these are some of the folders that was complaining about that this is just for my notes. So I rename, then I rename back. Okay. Here, what am I doing? Okay, there's no missing again here. So instead of missing, it's going to be 0. And if you look at this, 1 will always be 1 out of this. For this one, affirmation is not 1, so it's okay. All right, here the final submission file. Let me show you. I imported it into my SQL server. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, this is the sample submission one. I'm looking for my this one. Oh, it looks is this one. Okay, here is my own submission file. Okay, so I'm picking the one in which my prediction is just affirmation. You see, this one is 1, the others are. So if I just pick them, just like the way that thing has produced there, you see for this one, affirmation, how would that the affirmation is 0 here. But if you scroll down, one of them must definitely be 1 for that first one. What is the category? What is the category? Oh, is that the first one? Should be the Japanese Spaniel. Let me go to GHI. Yes, it's Japanese Spaniel. Remember the other time we were looking at the Japanese Spaniel. Okay. Okay. All right. So that is that. Okay. So this is what you will get, and once you have got it, okay. So now once you have got this, and you have got your file, this is the file. Your result file is this one. This cargo submit. Then you will take it to cargo for submission. You just type cargo is as simple as cargo. This one that I submitted, it penalized me severely because there's some incorrect records there. So you go to cargo, okay? Then you go to where are we going? Submission, okay, submit. Then you drag here, then it will upload it. If everything is okay, it allow you to submit. You upload, and you come here to click on make submission. Then it will give you, yeah. So let me show you the last one I submitted. Look at the scores here, 8.16. So the what do you call it? Cargo has penalized me because I assume that everything is one. That means I have assumed that everything is 100%. So for anyone that I miss, it's a serious penalization, and it's true. I've seen some that are not correct. Let me show you here. For example, I picked this one, Afghan Horn, and these are some of the things that I've been telling you about the accuracy. Look at this. Look at this first one here under Afghan. Let me go to my folder where I put all of them. Go to data, go to downbridge, go to test images, Afghan Horn. Okay, so this one has got 0 from my own this prediction value. You see the accuracy of this one is 0.0. It's even less than it's less than 1. So from there I know that one is a serious mistake. Okay, well, let's see what the image is exactly. Since we have been involved with this, you can guess that this one is not an Afghan on. Let me zoom it. You see, this is not Afghan on. So okay, so it penalized me severely here. So I said this one is Afghan on. This one too has got a very low one. African hunting. Let me see whether it's truly African hunting something. Let me do like this. For those of you that know African hunting dog, you can this one is not African hunting dog. And why the program is confused is that they introduce a lot of noise. You see the background it's like the image here, and they put another dog here. So to confuse the model. The model is good, but the image is full of confusion. So if I can just crop somewhere here and get rid of this other dog, my model may be able to predict it nicely, but there's a lot of noise here and there. Okay, let me see another one with a very low. Okay, for those of you that don't know African hunting dog, is that one with the black and something stripe. Maybe I should show you one example of an African hunting dog. Africa. Okay. These are the African. They've got funny tails. Alright, I will share the video. That one said these are the African hunting dog. You see them, they've got this big ears. Hunting dog. They're actually wide or they don't stay with people at home. They hunt in packs. Okay. But I watched the documentary on National Geographic. So that one is it's not close down to an hunting dog. Alright, let's see the others with a very low score. So that's one of the reasons why this thing. So we soon end now. I've recorded the video, maybe I can just edit it, then send it to you. Malinois. So this one too is confused about it. I think that video I can just do a little editing and just send it to you people. Then that would be a kind of revision for you. So any question before I think we have about few minutes left. Okay, about 6 minutes left. Any question, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, you are welcome, Jan. Great. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome. Idris, any question? Yes.
I just joined the time the connection break, so I don't know the images we separated into the folder. Is it the test images we downloaded from the Cargo website?
Yes, they are the but don't put the original ones there. I mean, put the original one, but have a backup because it's going to split everything to a folder for you. Just create a backup, then put. So you are doing everything you are doing now. You are not doing anything with train, only the testing one.
Okay, sir.
Just like I was saying, we are just using the VGG, the raw VGG16. Just like you go to a website and put something there. So,
okay, sir.
Yeah. So any other question?
Sir, is it okay for us to do pre-processing on the test images before putting them in?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You are going to do a lot of pre-processing. But the pre-processing that I recommend now is to use this program here, the bash one, to resize your image maybe by 90% or 95% so that it will be very small. So that's the only pre-processing that is recommended. First of all, submit something to Cargo. Then you now begin the pre-processing to increase your accuracy. So yeah, so that's what I'm expecting. So start like that. All right. Any other question?